Climate Warming and Wildfires by Alexis Feltner, Linda Gonzalez, Isabel Gonzalez, Victoria Gregory. What's the major problem with wildfires? Wildfires have become a very common problem, especially in the United States in very dry months and climates such as California, Tennessee, and North Carolina. These outrageous fires have caused an absurd amount of damage to this nation. With the duration and length of these fires, the U.S. has lost around $1 billion around each occurrence. Along with the money lost in the nation, many residents lose homes, business, and jobs from these fires. Wildlife is also being lost as many habitats are being burned and lost, with the plant life also being burned up. The change in climate has impacted the lifestyle of many people because of the easy chances of a small fire turning into a wildfire across the state. Climate versus management. Climate. The climate affects the increase of wildfires greatly, as in many recent years, the climate has changed in significant ways, especially with the record-breaking high temperatures. These temperatures have increased the drought rate significantly in the southwestern part of the country, where most wildfires have occurred in the past year and continue to grow. The lack of moisture in the ground is what easily allows a spark to cause a raging fire that can spread all throughout the state. Along with the lack of moisture on the ground, it is easier to stay burning, which allows the fires to grow so rapidly and destroy so much land. Management. The major management change through the years for land and the increase of forest fires has been the change of land use, as many national forest preserves are changing the layout of their parks. Moving and removing trees has caused debris, which allows the fire to continue but also spread throughout the fire. Along with other land issues, many open plains have changed into homes, buildings, or used for livestock, which would normally allow the fire to die out, but with these new structures, the fire grasps onto the material, continuing to burn.
As mentioned in the previous slide, land use is an important aspect of preventative management. The structures of towns and the use of surrounding land is integral for preventing extreme wildfires. Land use that contributes to droughts or excessive flammable debris contributes to more extreme wildfires. Towns that are not structured in a way that makes evacuation in wildfire-prone zones easier makes the chances of people getting injured or trapped greater. In terms of reactive management, there are several standard measures for managing an ongoing wildfire. Firefighters dig trenches to try and contain the spread. Helicopters bring in water to douse the fires. They also help evacuate trapped and injured people. The California wildfires were extreme and deadly as a result of many factors. The intense drought made for dry conditions that made it easier for the fire to spread. The strong winds that were present also made it easier for the fire to travel. The drought also contributed to there being a lack of water available to help fight the wildfires. As of September 2020, there were 8 recorded deaths linked to the wildfires and 3,300 structures burned.
In warming and earlier spring increased western U.S. forest wildfire activity, Westerling states that the greatest increase in wildfires was in the northern Rockies, where forests mostly consisted of mid and high elevation trees. Here, land use was a very small factor. Rather, large decreases in moisture, caused by increasingly earlier springs, were the biggest part of increased wildfires. Increased wildfires are just one other reason to resolve and mitigate climate change, and increase fuel management. They also increase the urgency of the situation. Westerling states that current projections show warmer springs and summers, which could bolster current wildfire causes, like early springs. As quoted by Westerling, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change expects the world surface temperature to increase by 1.5 to 5.8 degrees Celsius by the end of the 21st century. This, of course, would escalate the problem even further. Another sad point to make is that wildfires are in a negative cycle. More fires equal less trees, which means less CO2 uptake. This in turn equals more forest fires. As Westerling points out, ecological restoration alone might not be enough.